Hey y'all, this is Maker-Wright. I am a really big fan of small single shooter gun carts that are crafted out of wood, crafted really nice, and that work exceptionally well. And I want to take a few minutes to show you my latest design. First thing a lot of you are probably saying is, well, there's no room for my wife's guns. I got to tell you, my wife doesn't shoot with me, but if she did, she would have her own gun cart just like this that she could decorate just the way she wanted and outfit just the way she wanted. The carts are made of marine-grade Baltic birch. The plies are actually bonded together with waterproof phenolic resin instead of the interior-grade glue that's typically used. This cart has about 5 coats of spar urethane on it. You may notice a few scratches and dings on it. I designed and built this cart back in July of 2013, and it's got about 120 cowboy action matches worth of use on it and a couple of cowboy silhouette matches as well. I actually made 4 of these carts. The first one I made was for a friend of mine, Marshall Lamondo. His was a prototype, and in making his cart and doing all the R&D and stuff, once I got the jigs and the tooling all dialed in, then I went ahead and made this one and the pair for my folks. On the top of the cart, the deck has this nice notched area to hold my gun leather in place. And the deck also provides a nice spot to refill my loading block. Gives you a nice place to keep score, and this has worked out really well at matches where we've had a small posse and we're keeping score on paper as well as aces. One person can stand here and write the scores down on the paper and then plug it into the aces without having to hold the clipboard and the device. The cart provides a loading and unloading table pretty much anywhere I'd need one. The deck slots will accommodate 97s and side-by-sides, and they're trimmed out in 8-ounce saddle leather that I hand-tooled to match my gun rig. Even if I forgot to snap my long guns in, they can't fall out. The gun pockets down below have been sized so they won't allow the long guns to tip past the deck slots. The pockets themselves down below are lined with industrial felt. It's not the polyester stuff like they sell at the hobby store. It's 100% wool felt, and it's got great vibration dampening and abrasion resistant properties. The holes at the back of the deck will accommodate a shotgun chamber brush or mop, as well as a squib rod or a cleaning rod. I never carry that stuff, but I put places on the cart to carry those things in case I ever wanted to. And I recessed a weatherproof clock into the deck as well. And underneath the deck here in the shade is a matching waterproof thermometer. Under each side of the deck there's an accessory hook. The text on the front of the cart isn't a decal, it's actually been stenciled on there, and I used the same metallic chestnut paint that I used on the wheels and legs of the cart. I like to keep those plastic bottles out of the landfill, so I always bring a 2-quart jug with me full of water to the chute, and I hang it right on this peg on the back of the cart, and in the wintertime that's also where I hang my coat. These pieces were cut from the sheet in the same relation that they're assembled on the cart, so the grain matches from the box up to the lids and on into the back lids. The box corners are assembled with lock miter joints. A lock miter joint is kind of a tongue and groove joint that you can use on corners, and it results in a lot of glue surface, and it makes a pretty strong joint. And the one thing I really like about it is you can't see the joint from the outside, so it keeps that wood grain effect all the way around the outside of the box. As far as what I keep in my gun cart, in this back bin I keep a balaclava for the winter months. I keep a hard case with my eyes and ears in it. I keep dust covers for my long guns. I usually have those on my long guns whenever I'm not shooting. I could keep up to 300 rounds of center fire ammo in here, but I usually just keep enough to get me through about 7 stages. I've got sunscreen, a hollow handled screwdriver with gunsmith bits that fit my guns. I've also got a little maintenance kit that's got some cleaning patches, a few Q-tips, a couple of toothpicks, a little bottle of Break Free. I keep a spare firing pin for my 73, spare slide hook screw and ejector spring for my 97 in there. Got some insect repellent, dust cover for the cart, handkerchief that I collect my spent brass at the unloading table and bring it back to the cart in, spent brass bag, a couple packs of Kleenex. I could carry 3 full boxes of 12 gauge in here, but I usually just bring enough to get me through 7 stages. I got a first aid kit back here that's basically just got like alcohol wipes and band-aids and some Neosporin packs in there. I always keep a ballpoint pen in the cart, and I usually keep my score on the underside of one of my shot shell box lids. I always keep my loading block in there, of course, too. Just a side note, these two items are probably the least used items in my gun cart. I had a carrier pin on my 97 brake like 6 years ago. That's the only time I've ever used these things on my guns. If my guns have a part that tends to break, a factory part, I replace it with something better. After every match, I wipe the guns down, make sure they're working okay, check the screws to make sure they're tight, reapply lube, and maybe I've been lucky, but I just don't have to work on my guns very much. I've used these on other people's guns lots, but I keep them in the gun cart just in case anyway. This bin back here is the snack bin. That's where I keep granola bars and my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. All the box lids are mounted with brushed nickel self-closing hinges. There are fancier hinges, but what I like about these hinges is there's no kind of articulated linkage that would take up room down in the bin when the lid is closed. And the closing action on all the lids is dampened by hydraulic soft close cylinders. Wait for it, and click. The wheels are non-pneumatic flat-free type. You can see I've dehorned the treads so that they can't hang on to sand and gravel. I keep the gun cart in the house, so it's nice to have it not track sand and gravel in the house. The wheel covers are custom made. They're chrome plated. I laid out and masked off the Texas Star pattern, and then I scuffed up the exposed chrome so that the black paint would get good adhesion. The overall width of the cart is only about 22 inches wide to the outside of the tires. It's only about 18 inches deep overall. And even though it's got such a small footprint, I've used this cart at matches where the winds have been sustained like 35, 40 miles an hour, and I've never had the cart blow over. I think that's because the way the weight is distributed is really good. And I placed the back axle so that when you tip the cart back, it's got a real nice balance point. Makes it really easy to maneuver. And it's super easy to pull. If I'm hauling the gun cart in a vehicle that has a pretty good sized cargo area that's enclosed, I don't have to take anything out of the cart. I can leave everything right where it's at. I've got these little straps that strap the long guns in on both sides so they won't go anywhere. All I have to do is tip the cart back. I milled a nice spot here on the bottom for a finger hold. Just load it up. The spring-loaded hinges on the lids keep everything in place. The latch on the ammo bay keeps anything from falling out. The peg on the back of the cart keeps the cart horizontal, and it keeps the back up off the bed and keeps it from getting scratched. Now, if I need to transport the cart in a smaller car, I can detach the mast from the base by pulling just one pin. Right now you can see the cart is all together. It's just going to take me about 15 seconds to get this cart taken apart and put in this trunk. Here we go. Now I can fit 2 of these carts in the trunk of a Honda Civic, and when I get to the range, it's just as easy to put the cart back together. And the cart's back together. Well, that's about it for my gun cart. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on the range soon. Wait for it, and